Hi guys! Alright guys, so today I wanted to check back in with you for a couple of reasons. Yeah, I've got coffee or tea all over my side. Let's get a coaster. There we go. Okay, so today I really wanted to check back in with you guys because last week I put up a video of me going out, looking around some of the charity shops in Cheltenham, which is obviously in Gloucestershire, which is near where I live. And so I put in there a little bit about a DS game that I bought for £1 and sold on for like 20, and a few other items that I said that I was going to update you on. So that is what I'm going to be doing today. And also I've been out to the charity shops again today, and so I really wanted to update you on the amount of money I made last week and how you could also improve your financial stability by flipping, essentially. Not the physical act of doing a flip. But by buying and selling essentially cheaper items from things like charity shops, flea markets, from Facebook Marketplace, etc., and then selling it on for a profit on a selling site or on the same sites. Yeah. So last week I made approximately £100, probably a little bit more. Obviously, I'm keeping track of it, but off the top of my head, I know it was just over £100, which, depending on who you are, the position you're in, the job you have, doesn't sound like a lot. But if you were to extrapolate that over the month, that's £400, £500 a month. Now, for a lot of people, that is your entire rent, or at least not necessarily your bills, but that's your rent for your flat, your house, whatever. Well, probably not your house, but your flat. For me, that definitely covers the cost of my flat. Having an additional £500 a month is a big deal for a lot of people. So the extra £100 was definitely beneficial to me. I'm sticking it in savings. I'm going to reinvest it, it was a surprise, I will say, and especially when you get to know what sold for what, it was definitely a bit of a surprise. So I'm going to break down first and foremost what I sold and when I sold it. So if I open up my eBay app, you will get to see what it is that I sold and for how much. So if I go into eBay now, okay, this is my sold items, all right? So the first one, Little Miss Piggy plush toy, £3. I mean, come on, that I bought for £1, so that wasn't too bad. The Dratini plush toy, that I picked up for like 50p, so that was a £3.50 sort of profit. Kung Fu Panda, that I picked up for £1, that was £3.90. This one was off the chart. I was really not expecting this, so in future it means that I'm going to definitely look out for these kind of things more. Wallace and Gromit Fluffles doll. It was in pretty good condition. I picked it up for £1. It sold for £17. Like I say, I was never expecting that, but it sold for £17. Paddington Bear mug, again £9.50. I cancelled the Adidas Superstars purely because the buyer who had got paid, essentially had bid the most, said that they couldn't then afford it, which is fair enough. And then some Nike Vapor Maxes, which I already had, which I sold on for £36. Ralph Lauren Hodl bag for £10. And then obviously at the bottom there, you had the game. So as you can see, guys, just with those items, and I remember saying in the last video I spent about £6 on all of those items together, I made a profit of like over £100. Now, the investment was not a lot. It was £6. And my outlook with things like investments, obviously it will change as I get older and as my income grows, is that how would you feel if you lost that money? Like, if you just lost it, be that your investment didn't go through so well, so if you're buying and selling, you know, the sales weren't as good, you maybe just about made your money back, or you maybe lost a little bit, how would you feel? Now, £6 is £6. Obviously, for some people, that's an hour's worth of work. But in the whole scheme of things, like, you spend that on a pint of beer in London. Do you know what I mean? Like, you go out to Tesco when you're really hungry and you buy lunch and you spend £6. So actually, in the whole scheme of things, paying £6 and putting that £6 down in the first place, but the fact that I made £100, over £100 back, I mean, it speaks for itself. So if you are in the UK, and the reason I'm targeting those of you who are watching this that are in the UK is because obviously there's a lot of videos on YouTube of people thrift shopping and all this, and it's obviously different over here, right? Like, we don't have the same kind of stores, we don't have the same places to go and shop. Car boot sales are probably the closest thing to garage sales over in the States, but nonetheless, like, you know, there are places to go. All of those items that I sold, unless I already had them, I picked up from charity shops. All right, charity shops. So today I went to the car boot sale, and it was quite good. There were interesting bits there. There wasn't as much as I was expecting, although to be honest, the weather's not that great. So if you're not a die-hard car booter, then you may not have taken your stuff to sell. But I picked up some good items, and then I also went over to Cheltenham because I thought while I was out I might as well. Pardon me. And I also went and I got some bits. So I've got them on the floor. So I'm going to show you what I got from the car boot sale first, and then I'm going to show you what I bought in the charity shops in Cheltenham. The first thing I picked up, and she sold it for me to £2. I asked for, I tried to barter to £1, and she was a little bit more savvy. Not savvy enough to do what I'm doing, which is sell on eBay. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't. But she was aware that it was probably worth a little bit more than she was selling it for. So £2 is fine. And that is this, a Scooby Doo toy. Now, when I looked online and I typed all this stuff in on eBay, this was coming up at between sort of £10 and £15, and I paid £2 for it. So a pretty good purchase. It's in really good condition. It doesn't have any tags. It's an older version, but it does have its labels on. They're not cut off, so you can see that it's definitely Scooby Doo. The second one. Now, this one I did try to barter with him for. This is a My Little Pony plush toy. It's brand new. It has all of the tags still on it. It's obviously got the My Little Pony stitching in there as well, and it's in really good condition. There's no marks on it. It is essentially as though he's bought it from the shop and he's then brought it to the car boot sale. The bloke that sold it to me seemed to think that these are worth £8 new, and he was like essentially trying to sell it for half price. I tried to get him down to £2. He was insistent that it was worth more, so I picked it up for £3. My Little Ponies usually sell quite well. The plastic hard toys that you can get, they tend to be drawn all over when you look in the charity shops because they're plastic, so kids pick them up and draw on them and put lipstick and stuff on them. But this is obviously a plush toy, so it's not marked, and it has got the little paper things on them. If you find stuff with the tags on, usually they'll be worth more, especially if they're old, because collectors will want them, and this is kind of proof of sort of, it legitimizes the authenticity of it all. So yeah, so I'm hoping that this will go for a reasonable price as well, but it was only £3. The third thing, now this came as a set, so I paid £2 for all 3 items, but they are old school, and I'm hoping that they will sell. Okay, so these are 3 books. 2 of them are similar, one is very different. I'm a little bit disappointed as to the quality of the book, just because there are a couple of rips. However, because of the type of book it is, I went for it anyway because it was, you know, it caught my eye, and so I thought I had to go for it. For 3 books for £2, you can't go wrong, and if anything else, I'll just take them into my school and we can use them at school. So, this is a Beano and the Dandy 60th year sort of special comic book. It's a hardback, and inside it has all old school comics, all sort of laid out from different people, and yeah, it's really smart. It's a really neat book. Like I say, the spine of the book has a slight tear, and there's also a tear in the bottom hand corner, but essentially that cost £1. The other 2 I'm going to show you together because they're by Beatrix Potter, and that is, this one is Peter Rabbit and Friends sort of album collector book, and this is Best Love Tales, so it's got Peter Rabbit and stuff in it as well. These, obviously, if you're from the UK, you'll know them very well, or I hope you would know them very well. Again, these kind of things, collectors will love them. They're older books, they're things that you don't find sort of in every shop, in every bookstore, and again, they are really nicely illustrated. There's some beautiful illustrations in there, and the book is actually, these two books here are in really good condition. I'll show you the inside of this one too. So if you're a Beatrix Potter fan, you might well pay a reasonable amount of money for these. And all three of those books, £2. Can't say no to that. Now, so that was all the stuff I got from the car boot sale. There were a few other bits that I could have picked up, but I was there on my eBay app, as I said in the last video, looking to see what items sold for how much. And I probably could have picked some more items up, but I was happy with what I got. I didn't want to push my luck and sort of potentially dip my profits too much, so I stuck with what I had. I think the biggest thing is don't pick something up just because it's a brand. I know I said this in the last video. Make sure you're going for things based on the quality of the item, because that's what's going to sell the best. Right. Then I went into Cheltenham, so that's all the car boot stuff done. Then I went into Cheltenham and I picked these items up, and I honestly think I hit the jackpot. Really do. So, first item from the charity shop. Your boy got himself a Disney mug. Because of how successful the mug sold, the Paddington Bear mug sold, it went for a tenner and I picked it up for like £1. I picked this up. This is a Disneyland Paris mug. It's huge. It's like a cauldron, this thing. It has Mickey and Minnie Mouse on the side, and they sort of stand out. They're sort of three-dimensional. And it has Paris with like a cartoony version of Paris, like got Notre Dame and stuff in there on the front, and it's all Disney, so there's lots of little Disney characters, little birds and things like that, and it's all Disney-fied. These tend to sell quite well, so yeah, pick that one up. I think that cost me £2, so I'm hoping to get a decent price for that. That's the first one. Gonna pop that down. Second item. Actually, I'm going to show you all of these at the same time, because they're essentially all the same kind of thing. Okay, so I don't really know too much about vinyl. I know that people obsess about it, but I don't know that much about it. But I saw these in there, and I thought I would pick them up. The first one I saw was a small vinyl. It is a single, well, there are actually two songs on this, which is why it is smaller. And it is a Madonna, an original Madonna vinyl. I think that they were going, this was 50p by the way, and they were selling on eBay for, I think there was about £15 possibly. Then I hit the jackpot. The first one, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. There are a few little stains on the back, but then this was from the 60s, 1960 Walt Disney. It says it in the corner. Again, the vinyl is in really good condition. I don't have a vinyl player, so unfortunately I cannot play it to make sure that it works, but it's not like a CD, right? It's vinyl, so it should work. This online was going for £30. I picked it up for 50p, and I was so fortunate I did, because the other vinyl I've got in front of me, I picked up first and took it to the counter, and then one of the chaps that apparently provides all the vinyls for the charity shop came over and was like, oh, and he was all really chatty. He was like, would you like to look at my vinyl collection? It was a bit of a weird conversation, but nonetheless, picked this up for 50p, and on eBay, £40, £30-40. So that was a bit of a jackpot. So hopefully that will sell for a decent price. And the last one, which again was going for about £15, was this. Again, it's a Disney one, Mickey Mouse Disco. This is like a full album. On one side it has 4 songs, on the other side it has 5. And it has a whole variety of different things. Zippity Doo Dah, Zippity Day, Chim Chimmery, It's a Small World, and it's vinyl. And people, like I say, collectors obsess about vinyl. So if you are a Disney collector and you're watching this, go and find it on eBay, buy it. So there you go, guys. So that is all of the stuff that I have picked up from the charity shop and from the car boot. I obviously haven't had any bids yet. I think I was very fortunate that the DS game was one that was obviously in need, because I had 2 people put a sort of an offer in straight away on those last week. So yeah, I have made sure, and just be careful of this, I've got to remind myself of this too, just make sure that when you are listing these on eBay or wherever it is that you're listing them, if you are delivering it, make sure that your delivery day is close to when the bid ends, because the last thing you want to do is make people wait if you're busy with work and stuff like that. Obviously, I am busy with work. I can't get to the post office in time when it shuts at 5:30 because I'm usually in school still. So just make sure that you've set it so that it ends at an appropriate time. That's the first thing. The second thing is make sure that your bidding ends at a time when people are most likely to be on their phones. So midday on a Wednesday, a lot of people are going to be at work. Whereas Friday evenings or Saturdays or Sundays, when people are at home, they are more likely to be scrolling through eBay trying to find things. Or just on the evenings when people are going to be at home is the best opportunity and the best time to do that. And as I say, make sure that when you're putting these up, that the date that the bidding ends or that your auction finishes, make sure it's as close to the day that you would then post the items as possible, so that you can get the items to the bidders as soon as you can. You'll then have happy bidders ultimately, and your reputation on eBay won't be tarnished. Right guys, that is it. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you got something away from it. You can see firsthand that I have made money off of this, and a pretty decent amount too. Keep going, keep doing it, keep grinding. If you're wanting to make a little bit of extra cash, this is a really good way of doing it. And if you have the opportunity to do this more frequently, the last haul I did on one day, so it's not as though I had the whole week going out and looking for different shops and looking for different things. If you have more time, you can make more money. It is a little bit frustrating then going to the post office with like 6 items that you have to then post off, but it's worth it. It's extra £100, and it's hardly difficult. You just go into some shops while you're in town, pick things up. Pretty simple, right? Okay guys, I'm going to wrap this up here. I will try, assuming that this stuff sells, I will then come back and I will do another recap video either next week or the week after, once I have sold a few items, and I will make sure that you guys can see how well I've done. So I'm going to wrap the video up now. Let me know, have you got wins similar to what I've had? Have you done well at flipping? Have you made a bit of extra cash now we are in 2020 to achieve those extra goals and to become more financially stable and independent? If you have, comment down below. If you enjoy this kind of video, consider subscribing, and if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. Right guys, I will see you next time. Peace.